Hello everybody, welcome back to CBB HQ. If you're here specifically for what's shown in the title, the thumbnail of the video, that's our question of the day segment. You can check the timestamps below for that. But before we get to that, I'm gonna go through the training log part of the video because that's how we set these videos up. So if you wanna tag along for that, stay tuned. If not, check down below and thanks for tuning in. We are now starting essentially the peak for Westerns. The first meet on the road to Worlds. I guess the second meet is Worlds, so it's not a very long road, but yeah, we got Westerns coming up. We got 2 blocks. Started the first of 2 peaking blocks on Monday, January 1st, and I feel great. I feel like this is a real emotional roller coaster that is almost laughably predictable at this point. I start a block, I'm all piss and vinegar, I'm enthusiasm, I feel like myself again. I haven't lifted this well in years or months. And then by the end of the block, I'm like, oh, I hate everything and it sucks. And I'm holding back tears in the last one. Let's see if that trend continues. This week, honestly, has been great. You know, not to play too far into the meme that I just made of myself, but this week did feel great. You know, came in and squatted 260, benched 175, which, yeah, not crazy numbers. You know, I sat down and I planned out the next few blocks and figured, okay, if I end this block at this E1RM, this is essentially the weight I need. These are sort of logical jumps to get there, starting from a really conservative place. Because I want to be able to get through this block without like pissing my knee off too much, without having, you know, ruined shoulders by the end of it. So I am trying to very intentionally undershoot a lot and take some sort of nice, easy baby steps in this first block. Now, next block, I'll start from probably pretty close to where this block ends. But again, the plan is sort of laid out for me in terms of what I'd like to see for weight on the bar, RPEs, and therefore, you know, kind of bar speed on that stuff. And I have I think a solid roadmap of how I get from here to there. Because I am, you know, a little detrained right now. My knee, I think, is at a point where it's workable. You know what I mean? I don't have a whole lot of pain in my daily life. You know, up and down stairs is all good. It's pretty much fine. And I have very little pain in the gym, especially once I've warmed up. So it seems pretty reliable. And it seems like by the end of a block, I can kind of expect it to be a bit worse than we started. But by the end of the washout that comes after that block, it's better than when I started the previous one. So it does seem to be overall trending in the right direction, which is sort of hopeful and good, I guess. Deadlifts this week felt unbelievable. This is, I think, the closest I've been to kind of how my deadlifts felt at their best, 2021 Sweden era. And it obviously, that was a huge mental boost to be able to go in, pull, have it feel that good. Now, things are light. That's the flip side of that, is that, yeah, like I pulled a 300 kilo single and I pulled 250 or something like that for volume. And, you know, in the grand scheme of things, yeah, that's pretty light. But looking back at the last couple of blocks where I pulled, you know, over 360 in competition, the heaviest I was working with was in the 330s. And a lot of times it was really hard and sloppy, and sometimes I missed reps. So starting at 300 very cleanly, very smoothly, not a bad place to be. Not a bad place to be at all. Body weight's finally coming back after being sick. That sucked. I know I talked probably a lot about that, but lost a bunch of body weight. And it honestly took me probably until this Monday to start feeling like myself in the gym again. I think the detraining, the toll that whole saga took on my body, and the loss of body weight all combined really kind of punched me into a very bad place physically, to where everything felt heavy and crappy and foreign, and all of my kind of tweaks and twinges and stuff like that were much worse than they otherwise would have been. And now getting into this week, I'm feeling a little more like myself and like things are about where I expect them to be. So that's good. And again, hopeful. So I'm gonna go ahead and toss it over to Dylan here because I think otherwise he's gonna give me a question of the day and it's gonna be really ham-fisted. If Dylan just butts in with it and it's clumsy and awkward, it's gonna be really
So I thought this was a good question of the day to to bring up in the new year, because I don't know. Do
you want to start that over? You were definitely talking over me there.
No, it's good. I feel like it's relevant to.
You're just gonna cut my audio track.
I feel like it's relevant to today's video and to the new year. So this comes from CO_heart2. Is having a specific number to hit on a lift or total poppycock? What do you believe is a better overall goal setting mentality? Having exact numbers you want to hit, or just simply just trying your best?
So I think probably a combination of the two. And real quick, before I answer the question of the day, just to lay out what we're doing with question of the day. If you submit a question in the comments section below and you use the word of the day, which I may have alluded to before this question, then you are essentially entered for the chance to win either a gift certificate for the value of a CBB shirt or a free month of the CBB training app. So if we choose your question to answer, reach out to us, let us know via email. Bye, Victor. Let us know via email and we will arrange your prize. But that's the incentive, I guess, to ask a good and thought-provoking question. Now, to answer your question, for goal setting, and I think we might actually try to put out a video that breaks down a lot of this stuff. I think a combination of both, because you want your goal to be something that's specific and measurable. So in order to meet those, trying your best is very vague. Now, I do think that should be kind of included, and I don't necessarily think that having only an outcome goal, which is what a number to hit would be, or I guess maybe a performance goal. In powerlifting, they become a little bit convoluted because the outcome is kind of the performance. Anyways, you want to have an idea of where you're trying to go. So you want a long-term goal that is maybe a number to hit, but then you have to break that down and say, how do I get there? What are the pieces and what is the process, more importantly, that's going to get me there? So it might be, I need to ensure that 80% of my squat training is with very good technique. I need to ensure that I'm getting all of my squat training in. I need to ensure that, you're eating enough, or that you're sleeping enough, or that you're managing your stress well enough. You have to think about all the pieces that go into that number and then focus on those. That number is a great motivator. It's a really big and important and good thing, I think, to have in your mind. But that doesn't necessarily dictate the pass or fail of your goal. That's more like how you set your compass, right? You're setting your compass based on this goal that's far away, but then you have to look down at your feet in front of you and figure out what the path looks like. I don't think it's a bad idea to use something like a number to hit as a goal. Another component to that, real quick, and I swear I'll stop jabbering after this, but it has to be realistic too. Right? You have to think of something that's realistically achievable or attainable in the period of time that you're trying to set this goal for, right? So for me, benching 300 kilos raw is probably not a realistic goal, probably not an attainable goal, but benching 210 or 215 raw might be good. The other thing you can do to kind of soften the blow or give yourself, a little bit more leeway is to give yourself a range, especially in powerlifting. Like, it makes total sense. So for me, I've squatted 320. My goal this year would be to squat 325 to 335. I would love to squat somewhere in there. That way, if I end up having a good day or a bad day or some circumstances crop up outside my control and I only squat 327 or something, that still feels great. But my goal is still to try to get towards the top end of that range, right? So you can use some of these kinds of examples to hopefully set some of your own goals and come up with a roadmap on how you get there, because that is arguably the most important part, is what is that process to get there? And that brings us to a close. Thanks everybody for watching through. Thanks everybody for the support and the words of encouragement through this whole Road to Worlds journey. We're taking those steps and we're doing the process of getting there. You know, to tie it back to the discussion about goals, the goal at the end of the day is to get to Worlds and put up a stellar performance. The process is all of the things that we're detailing in these videos, all the little bits of trying to get that body weight back on and making sure we're hitting the macros and all that kind of stuff that adds up and goes into it. And thanks everybody for coming along with us on that journey, and hopefully you can enjoy what we do and what we're putting out and get something out of it that helps you in your own journey. And we'll see you in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe, check out the Calgary Barbell app, and we'll see you in a week. Bye.